Hi, I'm Martina Liebig. I'm the illustrator of the book Little Cloud's Big Dream, written by Ixtzel Arreola, and it will be out on March 11 in the US, published by Northhouse Books. My typical day in general, but also working on this book, looks like this. I try to get up early in the morning, and then I walk over to my studio, which is really close by my home. And then I start working right away because I have the feeling I get easier into the creative process when my brain is still a little tired. And then I would work either on the storyboard or I would work on the final illustrations of Ree, and depending on which stage the book was in, and then get feedback from my editor or not. Then around 11 I take a break for a little breakfast. And then I continue working in the creative process for some time until I have the feeling it's done for the day. And then my email responses I do in the afternoon because then I have time and don't have to use my creative brain for that. And then when everything is done, I go home and I try to move my body, go for a little walk, and feel relaxed to start in the morning again. So the process from a sketch to final artwork is a bit messy, so I hope I managed to explain. So I start with this teeny tiny dummy book. It's made from tiny thumbnails I do in the beginning, and it's much easier for me to compose on a small scale rather than a large piece of paper. So I do these little books and I see how the story is evolving. And then I would take one of these sketches and then I finalize them on the computer, and then it's pretty much a process of digital editing and drawing on paper again and back and forth. And in the end I would print out one of the sketches that I would like to do a final of, and put another piece of paper over on my light box, and then I draw the outline with a really rough pencil so that the line gets a certain structure. And then I scan everything in, I clean everything again on the computer, and then I set a color palette that I use for all pages of the book. And then I would do a color sketch in the background, and then in the end, I finally start with coloring the whole illustration. Yeah, that's pretty much the process. The most challenging illustration was definitely the scene with the coatis I show you in the book. So I wanted to create the mood just before a summer thunderstorm. And I don't know if you know, but the air is really dense, it feels really heavy, the wind is getting stronger, the foreground is really light and the background has to be really dark, so that a really force of nature is coming up to you. And we have these little coatis fleeing from the scene, and they merge with the background into this tall grass. And I redrew this grass, but also the whole scene, maybe 9 times. And I managed to make it work, but sometimes I'm still not really happy with the grass. But anyway, I had to finish because otherwise the book wouldn't have been finished and time was running out. So that was the challenging one for me. I'm actually proud of a few things in this book, but my favorite spread is this one with the llamas. And that's because we have 2 separate illustrations, but they are still connected by this fine line you can follow with your eyes, and Ree is flying over the page. And I like that these 2 separate illustrations somehow make one double spread. And also I like the graphic way the clouds work. Like you have one big cloud over here and it reflects in the shapes of these clouds over here in the mountains, but also in the cloudy fur the llamas have. And I actually have a little secret hidden in this book because it's placed in spring in South America, and in the beginning, on the front end paper, I actually sent off this little bee, and it will end on the back end and also go to a circle, just like Ree does, and go on her own journey, so you can find her along all the pages in the book. So keep your eyes peeled. I believe children and humans in general learn better through experience, and that's something the book invites the reader to do. So the same concept applies to the illustration part of the book. I wanted to open up a second layer to the text and give the reader the opportunity to learn about the animals and the landscapes of South America and show this diverse world. And also to raise awareness that this world really exists and all the animals really exist, and it's human responsibility to protect and preserve biodiversity.